Critical Role Recap Season 2, Episode 15. Last episode ended with them going and talking to the gentleman and agreeing to take on a task, and then setting out on this task in the underground river in these caverns. So they're on two separate boats floating through this underground river on their way to some sort of haunted facility where they're supposed to bring back any lab notes that they find, and they're able to keep any of the loot that they plunder is theirs to keep. The gentleman just wants the notes, the information itself, and he also wants the place cleared out so that his people can start going back in there and start using the route again safely. While they are on their way down the river in their two separate boats, they are attacked by two flying squid-like things. Three of them come down. One of them immediately comes down and attaches itself to Nott, and then casts darkness, which they still don't have any form of dispel magic, it seems like. I think Caleb needs to get on that quickly. But the creatures are dealt with pretty handily. They don't really do too much damage, just more of a minor annoyance. However, in the process of fighting them, the boats continue drifting down the way. After they finish off these squid flying Cthulhu-esque creatures, two large elemental looking like rock and moss kind of things start to approach their boats from the sides of the river, from the sides of the cavern. Both Jester and Yasha manage to meet a strength check to row the boats to pull them away from the creatures, and so they basically just zip by them because those creatures are really slow and never actually make it to confront them. After that, they come to the rock slide that they were expecting, the cave-in that they were expecting. They clear some of the rocks away and enter into the facility. They enter into the middle of a spiral staircase and decide to first go down. They encounter the will-o-wisp that they were expecting. Nott kills one instantly as it tries to come down to attack Yasha, but it seems to come back immediately, and it seems to come back from the urns that they saw earlier in the room when they were first investigating the room, and they found some strange symbols and some sort of devices that seemed like it maybe was some sort of locking system, a puzzle that Matt had made up for them. Mollymauk noticed this, and when his turn came around, he just attacked the urns instead of going for the will-o-wisps, and he destroyed one of the urns and it instantly killed a will-o-wisp. So taking that as a cue, Caleb then went and used his Scorching Ray, his 3 separate shots, and took care of the other 2 urns. So the will-o-wisp combat went by pretty smoothly as well. They couldn't really figure out what they were supposed to do downstairs, and so they decided to go ahead and venture upstairs and check out that area to see maybe the 2 rooms were connected somehow and they needed to be in both of them simultaneously to solve the puzzle. In there, they found some more carvings and strange things, and Ford, there were 2 carvings of faces of people on the ground with just empty slots for their eyes. So Ford decided to just place a gold coin in each of the 4 eyes, and after the 4th one was placed, the platform beneath him opened up and he immediately began to fall. Nott cast Featherfall on him instantaneously, so he floated down safely to the ground, which was about 30 feet below him. And what he found looked like a pile of old clothes and like charred remains, basically. While down there, he searched around and he found a vial of necrotic resistance, I believe. He also found some jewelry that he could sell later. Yasha pulled out a rope for Ford to climb back up, and so he came back up, no problem. Caleb investigated the room some more, and he ended up finding a book that was written in Draconic, which it looked like it was a diary from one of the people that had run the lab. Caleb read through that, read it out loud to the group. Ford also found in a pile of rubble, they found a metal rod that they had determined would fit into one of the slots down below, where maybe they could then try and turn the floor, a pattern on the floor to meet up with the patterns on the ceiling kind of thing. So they made it back down, and he inserted the rod, and they tried turning it, and to no avail. Eventually, they realized that they needed to cast spells. They uncovered a bit more information through investigation. Nott also did some more trap disarming. She managed to disarm all 3 of the traps, but she took on quite a bit of bodily harm in the process. The traps actually ended up doing more damage than I think all of the monsters combined, almost. So then they tried out their solution for casting a spell onto these bowls that they had found, that were the bottoms of the urns that the will-o-wisp ashes had been in. When Jester tried casting a spell, the energy of it was sucked immediately into the rod. Some sort of machine started whirring and churning, and a door opened up above them on the roof, and out came a giant gelatinous cube. So they had a sort of boss battle with this gelatinous cube, but instantly Caleb hit it with his cat's paw, mud paw thing that actually managed to restrain it right away. So it spent an entire round just trying to get out of the cat's paw, basically, which ended up helping them a lot. They dealt with it pretty easily. They did take some damage from it from reactions, and actually Jester, when moving away from it, took a reaction hit that crit and just one-shot her. So she got knocked unconscious in just one hit from full health. So after they killed the cube and they investigated the clues a little bit more, they figured out that they needed to cast 3 spells from 3 different classes of magic at the same time onto the rod in order to activate something. So they did that, and a door opened. So then they go through the door and they start to look around, and Ford finds what looks to be the remains of a teleportation circle. Actually, this is where Caleb found the book. And then at the end of the episode, a swirling mass, a humanoid in some billowy cloak and like shadows, coalesces from the ground, and that's where we leave off. So yeah, today's episode was a lot of combat and also like traps and dungeon diving. So more of the kind of standard D&D RPG gameplay elements than the character development. Very little in the way of character development. A nice move away from the past couple episodes, which have been almost purely character development. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys again next week.